Hi, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Daniel. I'm 48 years old, and I struggled with every conceivable addiction you can think of for 32 years of my life. I think, let me start by saying, hurt people hurt people. And that's why my story is sadly not unique. I was born into addiction. My biological father was an alcoholic. He was a violent alcoholic. And my parents were both good people. They were just lost. And I can safely say, 32 years later, that the absence of God is the absence of love, is the absence of life, and the absence of anything good. I went through the trouble of just doing a little bit of numbers this morning. When we talk about addiction, over 7% of the world's population has currently got alcohol dependency problems, diagnosed or undiagnosed, which equates to about 400 million people. Over 300 million people suffer from drug addiction. Drug addiction is a bit harder to gauge accurately because it's still illegal and not everybody would admit to having a drug problem. 2.6 million deaths annually, alcohol-related. 13.6 million deaths, drug-related deaths. Then we're talking about mental illnesses. Mental illnesses, I believe, is a byproduct of addiction. Because of what the substances do to the brain over a period of time. At the moment, I reckon that 1 out of every 7 people have an undiagnosed mental issue or mental problem, which you can possibly also argue might just equate to the absence of God in their lives. My experience, not a professional. The sad statistic about this is that only 11.1% of people struggling with addiction really recover long-term, manage to stay clean out of these figures. And that is where I would like to give my thanks to the Gideons, to this book that saved my life, my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, and the fact that I would not be standing here today if it wasn't for a Gideon. Because of addiction, I suffered sexual abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse, and a whole bunch of other unpleasant things, which later in life was a direct result and consequence of poor decision making. Excuse me. Once again, I must say, I don't come from a bad family. We were just lost. At a very early age, my mom tried to commit suicide in front of me. Which I believe, for any developing young mind, causes a lot of damage. My biological father, while he was drinking, was violent and physically abusive. My mother finally had the courage to leave him. Praise be to God. After the divorce, he never touched a drink again. I'm happy to say, and my mom has since also accepted the Lord. I suffered with what clinical psychologists label as manic depression from a very young age, which means that I was medicated on psychiatric medication from a relatively young age. Needless to say, I was an introvert and struggled with fear of rejection, acceptance, which, if you do the math, resulted in hanging out with the wrong kind of crowds, the wrong kind of friends, despite excelling at sports and academics, which I really did do well at. But unlike a lot of unlike everybody sitting in this auditorium, I chose at a very young age to make the wrong choices. And, for that, I would like to salute and praise every single one of you guys sitting here. It was Mother Teresa that said, not all of us can do extraordinary things, but we can all do ordinary things with extraordinary love. And that's something that I forgot and I took for granted. I've been to rehabilitation centers. I've been in psychiatric hospitals. I've been to prison more than once. And if you would like to envision the depths of depravity that addiction took me to, you can picture me 30 kilograms lighter than I am now, wearing a yellow, orange, or green overall with prisoner on it, and without any teeth in my mouth towards the end because of all the drugs and alcohol that I consumed. So it wasn't from a lack of help or understanding. I was just incapable of stopping. In 2022, I tried to take my own life. That was after the death of my son, my brother, and my niece in the space of 6 months. And that is when I woke up. I found this book in the drug house that I was living. I was also living on the streets at the time. I don't know how the Bible got there, but I held it to my chest that night, and that was the last time I took drugs. I went to church and I met a Gideon in the form of Mr. Jurgen Fourie, who mentored me. He literally clothed me, fed me, and slowly nursed me back to health, both physically and mentally. I struggled with drug-induced psychosis at the time, which pretty much translates to me not knowing what day of the week it was. Excuse me. And also, at times not knowing where I was. And if it wasn't for a Gideon, I would have died. I know that for a fact. And since the Lord and Uncle Jurgen came into my life, I think with the time I neglect to mention that I also lived on the street. I ate out of garbage bins up to about 2 years ago. Yeah. And here I am today. And I think faith in action is something that's really stuck with me that I've heard today, because what Uncle Jurgen was, or what he has done, that's faith in action. I mean, that is your mission in essence, is winning souls. And what you don't realize is, we might not all be able to change the world, but we can all change the world of one person, and that is what you guys have done. Through your faith and the work you do, the love of my life also gave her heart to the Lord. And we got married 2 weeks ago, so I need to thank the Gideons right now for the honeymoon that you gave us. And I think the point that I was trying to make is the fact that, in the small things, the love and the message and the good news that you carry, whether it be through a Bible, a kind word, or just a word of encouragement, it changes lives. And that filters through, because in changing my life, my now wife, her life changed. Our friends' lives have changed. So you guys are changing the world one person at a time, and I thank you.